All right, next we're going to talk about add chords or slash chords, as they're sometimes called. We call them add chords because it's basically we're keeping a shape you already know, and then we're adding a note in the shape of an added fretted finger to the fretboard as necessary. All right, so the first one, and you've already seen this one. This is the G add, and there it is. Okay, say, well, I know that. That's the other way of playing G, and you're absolutely correct. So this is also called, this is the four-finger G. Sometimes it's called the G add D because we're adding the D note there on that second string of the third fret. Sometimes you might see it as a G add 5, although I don't think that's technically correct. You're adding that fifth interval, G, A, B, C, D, add 5. Okay, so there it is. It's just a strummed G with your bottom two strings fretted by your pinky and your ring. Okay, so since we're here, there's a little exercise there in your on the page there in the book. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go G add, and we're going to play C, back to the G add. All right, and all it is it's bringing that in that treble, an added treble in that D note there. Okay, so let's just give this a try for shits and grins. Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. All right, so the next one is G add to C, back to the G add to the D. All right, let's give that a try. The next little progression there is G add to D, to E minor, to C. It's a very familiar chord progression, right? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I didn't count you in on the other ones. Hope you can adjust. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're having so much fun, we'll do one more, okay? This one's G add to E minor, to D, to C. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. All right, so the next one now we're going to talk about, there's two very similar ones, okay? The first one we're going to call the C add G. Now you can probably figure this one out. This is the C, and then we add the G note. This is sometimes called the four-fingered C. All right, all we're doing, it's a C chord, and we add our pinky to that bottom string of the 3rd fret, which is note G. Okay, so it's the same thing with the C. It adds that little treble in there, a little brightness. Okay, so we've got 4 progressions there. Let's try those. Okay, so we're going to go G to C, and play the C and then add the G. If you can't hit them all at one time, then D and G. Okay, let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That second progression there is G, C add G, back to G. Now notice when I was here at the C add G, when I went back to that G, I kept my pinky on the bottom string this time to play the G. I could have went back to the traditional way of playing the 3-fingered G, but since I was already there, I just elected to keep my pinky there. Okay, then back to the D to finish the progression. Okay, let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Next one is G, D, E minor, C add G. Okay? Pretty easy. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, one more. One last progression is G to E minor to D to C add G. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you have a fingernail on your pinky there and it's getting long, kind of like mine is there, I know it may not seem long, but it's getting a little long there. When you hit that, if you hit that G there using your pinky, if you got a long fingernail there, you might not be able. It might hit the fretboard before you're getting a full, or it'll help your finger slide a little. Might slide off that string. All right, the last one for the C adds is very similar to the C add G, and this is the C add D. This is also known as, technically correct this time, is the C add 9. It's the 9th interval of the D scale. But it's C. Instead of adding our pinky to the bottom string, to that note G, this time we're adding it to the 2nd string on the 3rd fret, which we know is note D. And I can feel that pinky on there, so I'm going to have to trim that nail here when we're done. All right, so here we've got 2 progressions there. So we got D, C add D, G, and D. Okay, this one might be a little trickier because you have to worry about not hitting the third string or the bottom string and not muting that bottom string there. We can keep the C because our pinky cancels out the index finger. They're both being fretted, but since we're playing a C, and the C add D and the C add G most commonly are going to follow the C, so just keep this in place. But when you look at a chord diagram, it's going to look like this, but it's just C with the pinky added to the second string. All right, so let's play. We just have one progression, and we'll just we'll play it through there. It looks like there's 6 bars. Okay. Yes, dear. You're leaving now? Okay. Yep. Yep, mail that. I'll keep an eye on her. Okay. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Keep going. D, C add D, G, All right, there's one more add chord. I'll mention it, but it's hardly ever played, and it's not a true. You're not gonna see it as a slash chord because there is a D/A, which we'll get to right after this one. But it's sometimes played as a D, and then we want to accentuate. It's almost like a D sus chord, but we want to come up way up here to the 5th fret, and it's a bit of a stretch to play that note A. So the way we do that is you can play it like a D and then make that stretch. Okay. That's D add A if you ever see it. That's where it is. And it's just it'll appear in a song sometimes where you just want to get that treble note in there. It's a bit of a stretch, it really is. All right, so just one more now, and this is a D/A, and what we do in this one is you play the D, and then you add your pinky up here to the 4th string, 4th fret. That's F sharp, should be right. Yes. So that's F sharp, and we just play that to round out that D chord when we're trying to accentuate that middle note instead of the open D. So it's D, and this is kind of important to add your pinky. We'll talk about this in a little bit. Whenever you move further up the neck and are playing the D shape. If you just play it like that, you get that open 4th string is sour. So you add your pinky. And we'll talk about this a little more when we talk about alternate chord shapes. All right, so that's it for these add chords.